The Mercedes-Benz Interview Lounge.
That's the hoodie.
I want that hoodie.
Yeah, we want that hoodie.
Yeah,
Take off your hoodie now.
Send it to us, please.
I got sent loads to the house just for like my mates and stuff, and I was like, if I'm doing radio promo, I might as well advertise it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm your mate.
Yeah.
You smell good, by the way.
You smell
Thank
good.
you. I just had a shower.
Excellent.
You know, see where Danielle sits? Whenever an artist walks through the door, she always sniffs them and gives a report.
Do you want to know who smells the best?
Jason Derulo.
Jason Derulo.
Yeah.
What's the scent?
I don't know, but he always just, whenever he comes in, unless it's, alcohol, he smells really good.
I've come in here smelling of alcohol
Yes,
before,
you have.
haven't I? Yeah.
I smell like it right now.
Yeah.
If I don't.
Are we live?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, cool. So no swearing.
No.
Whatever you want to do. No, but we've been on for like 5 minutes. I'm like, is he coming?
I'm not late, am I?
No, you're not late.
No.
We were early.
We're early.
Right, okay.
Hey, while you're here, there's something I got to talk to you about. Remember years ago, and you said you would sing at my wedding, and you didn't.
Yeah, we did speak about this. Yeah.
No. Okay.
And I said, if you redo your vows on a date, and we'll fix a date, I will do it.
Okay, well, we're gonna do that today.
Cool. Oh, sweet. Amazing.
I mean, nothing fancy. It'll be on the phone, right?
That's great. That's really beautiful, man. That's really beautiful.
But at least now you can get it out of the way and you don't owe him anything anymore.
Elvis, tell them why today.
It's my 2nd-year anniversary. We got married 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That feels like it was planned.
It was
meant to be. That's great.
2 years ago today, you gave me the green weenie. And it didn't show up at my wedding.
Man, yeah. But do you know what? But in my defense, it's September now.
Yes.
Tour had just finished, and I hadn't been home in God knows how long, and I'd been home for a week. So,
Lame.
In my defense.
Actually,
I've got family who hadn't seen me for like 3 years.
Didn't you get married around the same time?
Yeah. Well, no. Actually, I actually got married at like 9 p.m. in January in a tiny church in Suffolk with like lit candles. That's when I actually got like married. But I had my sort of wedding party in September, and I was amazed there was no pictures from it. Everyone put their phone in like a little case thing, and which I think allows people to have a good time. No one's looking at their phone, everyone's having a conversation. And there was paparazzis hiding in trees trying to sneak in, blah blah blah.
I
And
hate
just
them.
there was no pictures came out. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
Everyone was like totally relaxed.
So now that no pictures are out, are you part of you thinking, God, I wish there was at least a picture?
No, I've seen. I had a photographer on the night who's my mate, and I was pretty loose.
Okay, good.
So I saw some of those pictures. I was like, yeah, people don't need to see them.
Okay, now I'm going to talk about the music here. I know you'd rather talk about other things, but I want to get to the music.
Cool.
Okay, before we do my vows and everything. So the other night when you kicked off the Bucks game, and you did Shivers, right?
Yeah.
Where is it? And now this is going to be the dumbest question you've ever been asked. Just push play. How'd you do this? Like, how do you form all this in your mind and say, I want this to sound like that, and then I want it to sound like this?
Well,
hold on.
I think
I want to say this.
I think when it comes to me putting together this album, it was different on the collaborations project. It was different because I basically just went in a studio for like a month with a guy, and then would have Khalid come in and Travis Scott come in, blah 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 blah, and we would just create whatever we would create, and then it was put out. But with this album and Divide and Multiply and Plus, it's very much I write a lot. Shivers was like one song of maybe 20 that week that was all right, and I kind of put that on a maybe pile. So then that's just kind of stacked, and then when I put together an album, like when you listen to the album, there's not going to be another song that sounds like Shivers because that space has already been taken up. So there's like 14 slots on the album, all for there's like one ballads, and there's like the opening song, and then there's the kind of radio singles, and then there's a song for loss, a song for love, there's a closing song. It's it's just I wanted every song on the album to actually have a purpose of being there, basically.
You know what? I guess I'm trying to get to a point that's it's pointless. You just make it seem like it just falls out of you. It's just natural, and it seems to us it's effortless on your part. We would never be able to do anything like that.
No.
But
You're a genius.
But I was asked this on the VMA red carpet the other day. They were like, "What advice would you give to young new artists?" And you guys don't see the failure. Like I fail all the time. And I learn from it, and I pick myself back up, and I go and try again. Like I write bad song after bad song after bad song, and it gets to a point. And this is why I think stuff like Instagram is quite dangerous, because you see the finished product, and then you go, "Oh, it's effortless for him. It's easy for him. He just writes that song, and they just do that video and blah 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 blah." But behind the scenes, you have to fail quite a lot to get there. So I write so much of this album. It's been a long process, and pulling my hair out and trying to choose which bit, and then it's finished and I come on radio and you guys go,
perfect.
Yeah. So I think it's important to know that every artist has crisis of confidence. Every artist is sort of like, I'm not good enough. This song sucks. Like it's normal.
How many songs do you think don't make the album that you write?
Tons and tons. I could show you a playlist now.
Oh yes, play them all.
You should put an album out of your failures.
Yeah,
right.
I was actually considering
Ed Sheeran failures.
Ed Sheeran, the don'ts.
It's like a double album.
Okay, so
I would pay extra for that.
So yeah, we've got like those are the songs that I'm pitching to people.
Wow. Oh, so
these
you
the
give
songs
them to others.
Those are the songs that got placed. These are the songs that I just did with one producer.
Wow.
So
do you have songs where you'll go, all right, it's not good for me, but it really would be good for this artist?
Yeah, well, I mean, so interestingly enough, the same day that we wrote Shivers, we wrote a song called Permission to Dance, which ended up going to BTS, and then BTS rewrote the lyrics so it fit them a bit more, and then that ended up being their single. It went number 1 on Billboard, which is my 4th number 1, and like it was really cool. But yeah, so that happens. Same with Bieber. I mean, there was obviously Love Yourself, but with the song with Major Lazer, Cold Water, that was just a like half finished idea that I'd done with Benny Blanco that sort of resurfaced 4 years down the line. And
this is, I mean, to you, it's every day at the office. To us, this is fascinating as hell.
It really is.
It really is incredible to hear you just spouting all this off. You wrote Shivers in a day?
Well, no, Shivers was like 3 days. But Permission to... So
it would take me a century to write that.
Well, so, I mean, sometimes it takes half an hour, and sometimes it'll take ages. Like Shivers probably the longest written song. No, actually probably Visiting Hours probably took the longest to write on the record, but Shivers was like, yeah, a good 3 days. I wrote the chorus and then was like, this is kind of too good to mess up, so I'm going to wait and then do the verse tomorrow and make sure that that's perfect as well.
Wow. Ed Sheeran here, by the way. Shivers, of course, out now. The October 29th release of the album, I guess.
Yeah.
We're excited about that. No. Look at where you are now and with your songwriting and performing versus 5 years ago, 4 years ago. Like, can you consciously say or know how you've changed and feel confident about it? Like, where are you? I'm probably less confident now than I was years ago. Why is that?
Well, because I think I'm getting older, and I think the music industry is such a like here today, gone tomorrow industry that I have kind of blinked and looked up and been like, oh wow, and now I'm quite grateful that I've sort of lasted. I'm on my 4th record and stuff like that, but I'm very aware that the 2 biggest artists in the world at the moment are 17 and 18, and I'm kind of like, well, what? Like, I can't compete with that, so I should just be writing my truth and write about, like, I can't write about what happened. I have an album called Plus, which is all about being 18, and now I need to write about being a 30-year-old dad, and actually that's where I'm at now, you know?
Are you sensitive to criticism? I mean, do you actually pay attention to what people are saying about you?
Yeah, but like there's like opinions that I would listen to. Like honestly, if you guys didn't like a song, I'd be like, oh wow, that because you've always liked my music. So if you didn't like something, that actually probably would hurt. But you see, like publications like Pitchfork have never liked me. So when they do a review, I'm like, of course, like you're the cool guys. It's cool to not like the popular thing. So like I don't really that stuff kind of brushes off me. But when it's people that I've like who've continually supported me and they're like, yeah, this one ain't it. Like that's when it's like, oh.
You're not going to hear that from us.
No.
Yeah.
But we're not lying though. We're being very honest.
Have you ever, in reverse, written a song for somebody, heard it, and been like, you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and keep this one.
Shape of You.
Yes.
Shape of You. Yeah, that's and like to the point of the day before it came out, still being like, I don't think this is for me. I wrote that. I went in the studio. I'd finished my album, and I went in the studio with this producer, Steve Mack, who I love and had always wanted to work with. He'd written some of the biggest pop songs, and I had a day with him, and I was like, right, we're just going to write 5 songs, and then we're going to pitch them to the biggest artists, and we're going to do one for Rihanna and do one for Little Mix, and we're going to do we did one for Liam Payne and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, so I went in. That was literally the first thing he played was the bling, 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 bling. And I wrote it, and I was like, cool, next one. And then I went to the studio that night to finish drums on the opening song on Divide Eraser. And my label were like, how was it with Steve Mack today? And I was like, oh, funny you should say that, because they signed an act called Rudimental. I was like, I think I've got one for Rudimental that you should get Rihanna on. And I played it to them, and they were both kind of looking at me and being like, why do you want to give this away? I'm like, oh, it's not me. And then they sort of kind of started convincing me it was, and I kept playing it to my friends, and I would play it against Castle on the Hill, and my friends would be like, no, Castle on the Hill is way more you. This is like this song just sounds like a radio pop thing. And I was like, yeah, you're so right. And then the label were like, you have to put it out. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. I want to put out Castle on the Hill. And then it got to a point where I was like, I'm so right that you can put out Shape of You and Castle on the Hill the same day, and I guarantee you Castle on the Hill wipes it. And then we put them out on the same day, and here we are.
And Rudimental is probably like, damn it!
I know, but man, like, I'm wrong. It's the biggest streaming song ever. It's my biggest selling single. It's now the biggest selling song ever in the UK. Like, I am completely and utterly wrong on that.
Well, we played Castle on the Hill yesterday.
We did.
And you know, I stand by it. I think Castle on the Hill, I prefer that as a song for me. I prefer that as a song for me.
It's one of my favorites.
I keep asking for Galway Girl, and I keep getting told, no, we're going to play Castle on the Hill. Like, okay.
Yeah, Galway Girl never really had a moment in the States because it was kind of still moving with Castle on the Hill. But Galway Girl in England is like the most polarizing song. It is, yeah, it's synonymous with like why people dislike me, but also my fans love. Oh, I think because it's like, I mean, it is a polarizing song. It's like, it's a middle-class white boy rapping over Irish folk music. I mean, like,
But it's so good!
like you sell that to someone, you know?
I want an entire album of that.
Oh, mate, there almost was an entire album of that. I got condensed down to 2 songs.
I would buy it. So you just said something else a few minutes ago. And it just went right over everyone's head. And I was like, fascinating. Like, one night I had to go in and I had to do drums that night. I'm like, who says that?
Right.
So you're actually working on the tracks, and you had to get the drums down, I guess.
Yeah, I think.
I know, but I was like, honey, can we go out? I'm sorry, I've got drums tonight.
Yeah.
Do you know what? And this is why Cherry is amazing. She, like, when it comes to work, there's never any question. It's just like, and I try and balance it. I like really try and, but like we date night all the time, and I'm yeah. It's we obviously have a baby now, so but I'm very, very present there. But when it comes to stuff like that, and it's like I have to go and do drums for 2 hours, it's like completely understand.
Where's your husband tonight? Well, he had drums.
Yeah. Well, so, I mean, usually she'd come. I mean, thankfully there's a recording studio near where we live, so she would just pop in with Laura.
This is my excuse to get out of the house. I need to do drums.
There you go. Use that.
I wish this album was dropping today.
Yep.
Well, it is up for pre-order. You can pre-order it, and we've got vinyl reclaimed cassette, which is basically they get old cassettes and then remake a new cassette with an old cassette. So I don't know whose old cassette it was, but I started collecting cassettes. You know.
Really?
Yeah, I basically when Lyra was born, I don't really listen to music in the house, and Cherry finds it really weird because I am a professional musician, I think. And she's like, when Lyra was born, she's like, you need to listen to music in the house. Like, Lyra needs to grow up with music like we grew up with music. And I was like, that's a very good point. So I got a hi-fi system set up. We listened to vinyl in the morning, cassette in the afternoon, and then like I just put on Sonos in the evening. But yeah, I just started getting cassettes. What did I listen to the other day? Cassettes.
I forgot what they look like.
And then you got to rewind it and all that.
I love that though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you like a cassette and a vinyl is such a commitment to an album. There's no skips. You listen to the record, and so your record collection has to be the best records because you don't want an album with skips on. So I'm just slowly putting this thing together. I listened to Fleetwood Mac Rumours for the first time the other day because I'd only heard the singles, but I heard it as a thing, and this is why vinyl's good. And I think albums are still important, even though everyone puts a lot of importance on singles. Like albums, if you make a good album, people consume it as an album, basically.
You know, Ed, there was a time when it seems like all of the artists who came to see us were just dropping singles here and there, not even really thinking about the work of an album.
What's the point though? What are you doing? Are you like that's so like that's why it's pop. It's pop 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 pop. It's just getting it's getting it out. But if you're just dropping singles, like what's the project? What are you going to tour? What are the fans going to? There's no deep cut on there because you're just coming with something that's going to work on the radio. I mean, First Times probably won't be a single, but that's a song that people are going to connect to on an album. You have to put a project together so people know the whole of you. If I just had Bad Habits and that was it, people would just be like, oh, that's pretty one-dimensional. That's what that guy does. But you have to have the whole thing, I think. To cultivate a fan base and be an artist, you have to have a project that you put all your time into, and you have your pop moments and you have your singles and then you have your deep cuts and you have your sad songs and you have your love songs. And I don't know, I think it's quite sad that we're losing that, but I don't think we are, because people are still dropping albums that people really care about.
It doesn't hurt for us to remind everyone from time to time. Next time you go listen to an Ed Sheeran song, listen to the whole album. And figure out why that one is placed where it is between that song before it and the song
then
after.
they do, but they do. Like I and I know this because I play concerts that people buy tickets to. People want to see the album. If I just had hit, I don't think I would be selling Wembley Stadium. I think I'd probably be selling like the O2 Arena maybe, but I think people connect to the record. It's why Taylor, I see you're wearing the Reputation top. It's why Taylor always does well, because those albums are so crafted and they have so many different moments on them of her, and it's her personality,
When I'm at a concert, like I saw you at Barclays. So when I'm and you sing something that I would consider like the B-side, you know what I mean? That didn't get hit right. I get more excited.
But that's the thing, and the fans, like there's a song on my second record called Tenerife Sea that was not a single. There's a song called Give Me Love that was kind of a single, but didn't really chart or didn't really. And those are the songs that react the best. And if you look on Spotify, they've also streamed more than the hits, and those deep cuts. You shouldn't ignore, if you're an artist, you shouldn't ignore them just because radio are more likely to play something with a beat. I know.
I hate radio. I will tell you this though.
I didn't mean it like that, man.
I did. People are sobbing in the middle of traffic because of that song. Great moment.
Oh yeah.
I'm crying. The next #1 wedding song. There you go. But I got to tell you, I'm trying to do this interview with snot falling out of my nose.
Yeah.
So that's not. I want it giving a bit more info on the album. That's not what I would consider the wedding song. There's one called Joker and the Queen that's like the big ballad. So
really?
Go get the guitar.
Yeah, get the guitar. So free. Wait, he's thinking about it. I know.
No, I gotta leave something. I gotta leave.
Leave some mystery.
I know. I now have eyeliner on my jacket. Thank you.
This is why when the album comes out late October, and you heard this conversation with Ed Sheeran, the album will mean something totally different to you than it will to those who did not hear him here today. And that's why these connections, when you actually spend the time to come see us and we can talk about why and the who's and the where's and the what's, it makes sense. We need to hear that from you. Now, I really can't wait for that album to come out.
Thank you. And I hope people like it, but I think at the end of the day, when it comes to making music, like I haven't made this album for anyone other than myself. Like this, all of it has been therapeutic and all of it has made me feel better. And now when it goes out into the world, I sort of wash my hands of it and go, now it belongs to you guys. And I've had to gone back and listened to my first album for the first time in 10 years because I had to play an anniversary show, and it's so weird looking back at the time capsule because now those songs do belong to people. Like Lego House, like you have an amazing memory of Lego House, but I have not really any connection to that song anymore because I had such a connection to it, and now it just belongs to other people. So I'm excited for this album to go out there and just people find these memories and people find different things in songs that relate to them that don't relate to me,
Wait, you played an anniversary show?
I did, yeah. I played Plus in full, track 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, blah, 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 at Shepherd's Bush Empire, which was the venue that I always dreamed of playing as a kid. And I always said, if I play there, I've made it. And then when Plus came out 10 years ago, I played there the week it came out. So I did that again and played the album in full. We filmed it, so I don't know what that's for. Maybe we'll sell it to someone or just put it up online. I don't know, but we've got it. So, yeah.
Wow. We've covered a lot. As they say, we've unpacked a lot today, Mr. Sheeran.
Well, I mean, we're in person again. This is good.
It is. Our first in-person artist in a year and a half, 2 years.
Yep.
Is this going to open the floodgates now?
Well, Lil Nas X is tomorrow.
Oh, man, I love that guy.
No one can rock pink leather like Lil Nas X.
I know, I've tried, but yeah.
It's really funny. We had him as a guest at our iHeartRadio Music Awards in Los Angeles, earlier in the year? So I'm talking to Elton John, and David, his husband's there, and then Lil Nas X walks up, and they start talking. And, of course, Elton says, Nas, come have dinner with us. And I'm standing right there going, can I?
So me,
Is there another seat?
no, it's incredible. I've got a song with Elton coming out after both our albums come out as well.
Oh, you stop
I
it.
know, it's good.
Can you imagine? Little kid growing up, not even thinking one day he'd be doing a song with Elton John.
Do you know what means more to me about that? Because I think this is why we haven't really done a song in such a long time of knowing each other. Is because we genuinely I could show you. He calls me on my iPad every single day, and more so. So when we had Lyra, he called me every 2 days just to check up out on how I was doing because he's dad. But I had a friend pass away in March. And he rung me every single day and, commiserated with me, cried with me, and he checks up on me. And he's like a real... I'll get emotional talking about it. He's such a lovely bloke. And, I'm so proud to have him as a friend.
I love that. Thank you for coming to see us today, Ed.
Thank you.
I know you've got a lot to do, but I'm glad you started your day with us.
Yeah.
I'm going to play Shivers. We don't have to get permission. We can just play that.
No, you can definitely play it.
That's released. Ed Sheeran.
Thank
Fabulous.
you.
The Mercedes-Benz Interview Lounge.